All right, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone who do rule and teach well. Peace and blessings, salutations, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, to all the sincere believers, the Akim and Akwath out there listening and learning, keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord Yahweh Shai, occupying in the prophecies until all is fulfilled, and Lord will, we are redeemed. So a great financial collapse is upon America, Babylon the Great, and this thing is coming soon. I was doing some research today, just watching different videos and things like that, and from what I've seen, they're talking about possibly the end of March, going into April, of something big happening with the financial system. And that's right around the corner. Like we're already at the end of February, man, and this year just started. So time is flying, a lot is going on, things are picking up. And the Lord is manifesting the end of this place. And a major blow that's gonna come to America that's really gonna set everything off is a major financial collapse, because even when you just look at the monetary system now, of course we know the elites, they want to go into this digital technocracy, and we'll get into a few things today to show you that this is indeed where they're going, right? But even when you look at the way that the financial system is run now, it's a debt-based system. Everybody's in debt. um Everything is expensive, people can't afford basic cost of living, people can't afford housing, things of that nature. You see, and then on top of that, you have the BRICS. They're doing their thing. More nations are getting away from the dollar, and they're using local currencies. Now they're going to, cryptocurrencies, or digital-based currencies. All right. So the world is moving in the direction of going completely cashless. Okay, which we know that this all feeds into this new beast system that they want to set up, in which everything is going to be tracked and traced, and you're pretty much going to be taxed via carbon, right? There's going to be a carbon tax. Um, the digital money that they're going to set up is going to be programmed in a way to which, if you've overused your amount of carbon for the day, then they'll be able to shut you off from buying whatever that they want to shut you off from buying. You know what I'm saying? For example, like if you want to go and you want to get some eggs, or you want to go and you want to get some bread, if you've gone over your carbon limit for the day, then they'll cut you off. All right, that's complete control over your life force. All right, and this is the system that these devils want to go into. But everything is out of order, man. You know what I'm saying? You have, these with Elon Musk going in with the Doge, and they're finding all kind of money laundering and government corruption and this and that. So this is going to be grounds for them to say, hey, look, this current system isn't working. We're going to have to really reset now. All right, which I believe this is going to come in the form of a massive cyber attack that's going to knock out the grid. All right, as you saw in the movie Leave the World Behind, you know what I'm saying? There was a complete cyber attack blackout of the East Coast. All right, and there's a lot of left hand prophetic things they showed you in that movie that have already come to pass. All right, so this cyber attack, this is going to be the next thing that they're going to implement to further usher you into that NWO. All right, so I don't want to continue to, talk too much. We'll get into this video right here from Dabu. He'll go into it and pretty much, explain to you that, hey, there's a big financial event that's going to happen. Pressure is being put on these banks. You know what I'm saying? Financial institutions are going under, closing down hundreds of branches like there's no tomorrow. Something's going on, and something big is about to happen. Right? So this is just a warning, a watchman report for you sincere Akim wa Akwath out there to, take heed and pay attention to the times that we're in, because things are very critical and sensitive right now. All right. So prepare yourself accordingly in the spirit. So without further ado, let's get into this.
This is Dabu7, and it looks like it's time to prepare for this reset. You know, the World Economic Forum Great Reset that never happened yet? It's about to. It's going to take place on Trump's watch, as it was designed to do this entire time. And he knows it. He's telegraphed it as much. Even before he got in office, he said that he was going to be taking a whopper on in terms of the economy, and that if anything happened, it wasn't their fault. Now, instantly, you have Doge making all these moves. And if you can get to a point to where the government isn't in debt anymore, then you stop printing the money. This could cause a credit collapse on the other side of the coin. All this could be fixed if our money was tied to gold. You know, the gold that's supposed to be in Fort Knox, but we don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it right there and see the U.S. dollar, and that's another thing too. The U.S. dollar is not backed by anything. Okay, if you go to the actual, I believe that it's the U.S. Treasury or the Federal Reserve. It actually might be the Federal Reserve, but they'll tell you straight up. Like if you go there and you ask what is the value of the dollar, they'll tell you that it's worth nothing. You see? Because it's not backed by anything. See, once America came off the gold standard, I believe it was back in the early 70s under Nixon, right? When they came off of that gold standard, that's when the dollar really ceased to be worthless. You know what I'm saying? Before that time, the dollar was actually had some value because it was backed by gold. So what you used to be able to do is you used to be able to take your actual physical dollar, and if you wanted to go to the treasury and trade your dollar in, you could get a certain amount of gold according to what that dollar was worth. You try to do that shit today, you ain't getting no gold, because number one, Fort Knox has no gold, and number two, the dollars that you have in your pocket, in your wallet, it's not worth anything. It's not backed by anything. It's really the only reason why the dollar has value is because this system promotes that way of exchange. Okay, but really the dollar has no worth. You see, is really only backed by the military industrial complex. Okay, and like the point I made before dealing with the BRICS, now you have so many other nations that are getting off of using the dollar because they too now realize that number one, the dollar has no real worth, no real value. It's not backed by anything. The BRICS currency, they're actually backing their currency with real valuable commodities, silver, gold, copper. You see things like that, things that are actually tangible and that you can actually use, right? But these other nations, they see that the dollar has no value. They see that the dollar has been used as a tool to pretty much bully these other nations into doing the bidding of America. And really that the dollar is backed up by the U.S. military. So what these nations are doing now, they're banding together. They're coming together with Russia, with China, with India, Brazil. Okay, and they're actually putting resources behind their currency to say, okay, we have this amount of gold, we have this amount of raw resources. Let's put this and tie it to our currency now so that we can actually trade amongst each other. Even if it's not amongst the dollar, we can still trade in raw earth minerals or commodities. All right, you can't do that with the dollar. The dollar is what it is. It's a Federal Reserve note that really outside of America has no real value, man. And see, once these nations stop using the dollar to trade with, all right, because remember last year Saudi Arabia came off of the I forget the exact name of it, but there was an agreement between Saudi Arabia and America to where for 40 something years the only way that you could trade oil was in the US dollar. All right, they came off of that deal last year. Brothers did lessons when it happened, but they came off of that deal. So now, not even oil. All right, you don't even have to trade oil in the US dollar anymore. So these nations are finding a way around the dollar, man. And once they stop using the dollar in mass, which is already happening, okay, this is why I'll play a video of Trump telling you that the dollar, basically, in so many words, don't have that much longer left to operate, right? And it's the same thing that Dabu was saying in this video, right? But once these nations stop using the dollar and those dollars stop circulating, around the world overseas, and they come back home, or they stop the use, that's when you're gonna see hyperinflation. That's when you're gonna see, because look, inflation is already going up, okay, and it continues to go up. People are losing jobs. Everything is unaffordable. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're in a point now where it's very clear that this American empire is on the decline, and the same thing happened in ancient Rome. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's continue.
They reevaluate that gold. They revalue it. It will change the game dramatically. Now, if you look back through history, the biggest reset in history occurred in 1933 when Roosevelt confiscated gold from the citizens at $20.50 per ounce, then turned around and revalued it at $35. This was massive criminal theft, and it was done by executive order.
You see? So in the 1930s, right? Because remember, I believe it was 1929 when the stock market crashed, and that pretty much kicked off the whole Great Depression. Which before that, you had what? The Roaring Twenties, a time where everything was affordable, life was good, everybody was prospering, right? Then came the crash at the end of the decade, okay? And you can really look at it at the same time as before 2019, although America was shit before 2019, but it's better than what it was now, right? But the 2010s, you know what I'm saying, started off in a recession. Then towards, the mid 2010s, 2015, 16, when Trump came in, the economy started to look a little better. You know what I'm saying? Things started moving. Then came 2019, 2020. Well, of course, we know what happened with the whole pandemic. Everything was shut down. Pretty much the economy was brought to a standstill. A lot of small businesses had to close. A lot of corporations had to be bailed out. They had to print excess money. They were giving out stimulus, money that they didn't have. All right, fast forward to now, 2025. These Americans are now paying the consequence of all that reckless money printing that was done during the Biden regime. Okay, because when you print too much money and it's in circulation and you don't have that much people using the money, the market becomes oversaturated and now the dollar becomes worth less. Okay, versus if you didn't give out stimulus, and I'm just using this as an example because stimulus is not the only reason why there's inflation right now. All right, but that's just one cog in the wheel. But when you have too many dollars in circulation in the economy, now everybody has money and they can use it freely to buy whatever they want. Okay, versus if you just had a regular economy to where people had to work, you know what I'm saying? You didn't give handouts, okay, then the dollar will be worth more because you have less dollars in circulation. Okay, it's the same concept as if you may be the only person in your city or in your neighborhood that has gold, right? You would be considered the man because you have the most rare, valuable commodity that nobody else has. So if people want gold, they would only have to come to you. Now, in a scenario to where everybody in your neighborhood now has a surplus of gold, the gold is not as valuable because now it's abundant. Okay, really, a currency is really only worth as much as its its purity. Okay, but once you start to cut out the valuable minerals out of the currency, then it becomes devalued, which is what you see with the American dollar.
Not even an act of Congress. The next reset was in 1964 when Johnson took all the silver out of the dimes, quarters, and half dollars.
You see that? So 1964, all right, Johnson came in and he started removing the valuable precious metals out of the currency. Okay, so with Roosevelt in the 30s, by executive order, He came and he took the gold. All right, which hey, they gonna do the same thing, man. So these people out here that are talking about, oh, buy silver and buy gold, guess what? All Esau got to do is sign an executive order and come take it from you, just like they did before. All right, and so much time has gone by, people don't remember these things, but these things have happened within the history of America, man. So you people out there that buy up silver and buy up gold, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a bad idea, but in the grand scheme of things, it's only gonna do you some good for a short amount of time. That's not gonna be your saving grace, man. Ultimately, Yahweh Bashim Shai has to be your saving grace. Okay? Because like Dabu just told you, Esau can just sign the executive order, you know, kick in your door, put you to death, or take you to a detention center and take all of your silver and gold, man. All right. So these are the scenarios that you're going to be faced with if you trust in these things. But as you heard, man, they started devaluing the currency by taking out the precious metals. Now, what does that sound like? We can go right here. All right, American Bread and Circus, Hidden Secrets of Money. All right, now I got this video from the elder Yashawamba. He put it in the community tab, and I checked it out. And of course, we know that we live in this modern day, more technological Rome. This is the rebirth of the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire to be specific. And much of the way that the Western Roman Empire fell during their time, we're seeing these same things come about today in this time, man, because after all, this is the revival of Rome. Okay, so the same way that the first Roman Empire went out, going to be the same way that this one is going to go out. And a key prominent event that you had happen that contributed to the fall of the Western Roman Empire was the devaluing of the currency. All right, now we're going to check out a short portion of this to get the point, but just to show you that America is going in the same way. Okay, what you know what I'm saying, like the things that happened before, these things, everything come back around full circle, man. All right, so let's get this.
The Eastern Empire changed their official language to Greek, and even though their own people at the time referred to themselves as being part of the Roman Empire, today we know them by a different name, the Byzantine Empire. So why did the Western Roman Empire fall while the East flourished? I believe a major part of the answer is contained in two simple words: sound money. The Byzantine Empire based their monetary system on a coin originally minted on a small scale by our friend Emperor Diocletian. It was called the Solitas. It weighed just 4.5 grams, or 1/7 of an ounce, and was made of pure gold. The Byzantine rulers had learned from their own history, and they made a conscious choice to avoid the continual pattern of debasement that Rome had suffered from, with amazing results.
So you see here that when the Byzantines, when they had a pure gold currency, that's when their government was the strongest. All right, 4.5 grams pure gold. It was called the Solitas. All right, now let's see what happened when they start to debase the currency.
They defended the purity of the Solitas for a further 600 years, until 1034, when, you guessed it, the same old story started to play out. The debasement of the Solitas was gradual at first, but it soon accelerated, and the coin was eliminated less than 60 years later in 1092. A new gold coin, the Hippopyron, was issued in place of the Solitas, and its purity was maintained at 85% gold until the early 1200s, until it too was debased. By the 1350s, it had no gold content at all and served merely as a unit of account.
And that's the very same thing that the American dollar has become, a unit of account. You see? Because when they first came out with the Solitas, it was 100% pure gold. Then it came a point where they debased it and they said, okay, we're going to keep this coin at 85%, what did it say? Yeah, 85% gold, right? Then in the early 1200s, it was debased, and by the 1350s, it had no gold content at all. So pretty much the currency was debased so much to the point where it really eventually had no precious metals at all in it. And you can liken it to the US dollar, because at one point the US dollar was backed by actual gold. All right, now they have debased it, and this has been going on for 50 something years back in the 70s, right? Now they have debased the currency to where a paper fed note has no intrinsic value. You can't trade the dollar in for any precious metal. It's not going to work because they came off the gold standard. So now you have the same thing in America. Okay, the currency has been debased. It has no value. And of course, we know what happens when your currency is severely devalued. You get hyperinflation. Okay, nobody can afford anything. Businesses close down. There's chaos in the streets. You see what I'm saying? You know, people have to resort to crime and be able to sustain themselves. All right. So the elites know that this is what's coming, man, and this is really all based in a theory called Malthusianism. Okay, which the Club of Rome subscribed to. The people at the WEF, which the WEF comes out of the Club of Rome. Okay. Um, uh, Kill Gates. You know what I'm saying? Elon. You know, Jeff Bezos, guys like these, okay, where you hear of this talk of depopulation, okay, this it all goes back to Malthusianism and the Club of Rome, all right. When before they destroyed the Georgia Guidestones, there was a marker on there to say to maintain humanity at or below 500 million to pretty much maintain control. But it all goes back to this theory here, Malthusianism. Now, Malthusianism is a theory that population growth is potentially exponential, meaning that the population on the earth will continue to increase until there pretty much is no limit, until pretty much you have overpopulation on the earth, which there's no such thing. All right. If the leaders were to, properly allocate everybody their own portion of land, and listen, man, the earth is huge, you see? And really most of the population of the earth don't even inhabit half of the earth, man. All right, the areas of the earth that are inhabitable. But according to these devils, you know what I'm saying, we have too many people on the earth. There's not enough food. Water resources are growing thin, and it's not that the earth can't yield forth the resources. It's the management of the resources that really goes back to the control of the rulers, which is Esau. All right, it says, according to the Malthusian growth model, while the growth of the food supply or other resources is linear, which eventually reduces living standards to the point of triggering a population decline. This event, called a Malthusian catastrophe, has been predicted to occur if population growth outpaces agricultural production, thereby causing famine or war. According to this theory, poverty and inequality will increase as the price of assets and scarce commodities goes up due to fierce competition for these dwindling resources. And part of how they're going to get people to compete for dwindling resources is to destroy the economy. Because if you lived in a flourishing society, a flourishing economy, people wouldn't have to go to these lengths and in order to feel like they got to really crash out to just survive. All right. But this is what these devils are going to bring, man. This all goes back to Malthusianism. It says, this increased level of poverty eventually causes depopulation by decreasing birth rates, which again, the depopulation, okay, which right now you have a mass depop going around across the four corners of the earth due to the sauce that was pushed a few years back. Okay. They're spraying things in the air. They're poisoning the water. They're poisoning the food supply. All right. And matter of fact, I think Trump came out today or yesterday and said that, they are spraying chemtrails. All right. So the chemtrails that they spray up in the air is coming down on you. It's coming down on your food supply. It's getting in your water. All right. So they're literally killing you by weaponizing the environment against you, man. Okay. Now there's a regulation that's coming out from BG saying that you have to V up the chickens because of this bee flu. All right, so now they're putting V's inside the chickens that they're still going to sell you in the supermarket, man. All right, so they're even putting now the V's inside the food. So these devils got to be stopped, man. All right, because as the scriptures say in Mark, if it were not for the sake of the elect, then there should be no flesh saved. Roughly paraphrasing. But if this devil was left up to his own devices, then he would destroy everything, man. Everything is already mourning. Let's see what else we can get out of this. It says, if asset prices keep increasing, social unrest would occur, which is what they want, which would likely cause a major war, revolution, or a famine. Societal collapse is an extreme but possible outcome from this process, hence the Great Reset. Okay? The theory posits that such a catastrophe would force the population to correct, pay attention here, back to a lower, more easily sustainable level quite rapidly due to the potential severity and unpredicted results of the mitigating factors involved as compared to the relatively slow time scales and well understood processes governing unchecked growth or growth affected by preventive checks. Malthusianism has been linked to a variety of political and social movements, but almost always refers to advocates of population control. There you go. Okay, and how are these devils going to get to control the population, debase the currency, destroy people's lives, hard reset the system, and install a new government in which technocrats are going to be in control, in which AI, robots are going to completely take over. All right? This is where these things are going, man. And these devils know that eventually, like I said, doing some research, I've seen things that say the end of March, April, something big is going to occur. All right, so this is a time to be extremely vigilant and continue to watch these devils, man, what they got going on, because they have a lot going on.
Is it a coincidence that this time period matches that of the decline of the Byzantine Empire? It's impossible to say for sure, but I'd like to say once again that I believe that the quality of a society is directly proportional to the quality of its money.
No, the quality of a society is directly tied to the quality of life of other people. Okay, because once you have people mourning in mass, people don't have work, people don't have a sense of comfort or of peace. That's when things really start going downhill. All right, but this is what Esau is doing deliberately, because prepare for reset.
And then fraudulently replaced it with pot metal. The next big reset was in 1971, when Nixon seized redeeming gold to foreign governments, much as how Roosevelt had denied Americans doing it before. So history has showed us that the connection to gold and breaking away from the precious metals has hurt our dollar big time. And one good way to fix that would be to connect it back to gold somehow. To do that is going to take a complete reset of the game. Right now, the U.S. government still values the gold that's supposed to be at Fort Knox at $42 an ounce on its balance sheets. If you revalue that gives them $750 billion in overhead to add to it, just in the blink of an eye, just by revaluating gold. And not only is their gold going to go up, but so too would the whole market. It would cause the whole thing to continue to rise. And for this to work, backing a currency, many say that it needs to be somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000 an ounce in gold. You will see an absolute explosion from here in gold and silver. Silver may do better numbers than gold. Playing catch up. That's where I would position if I was you. Hedge your bets there, and hopefully you're in a state where they're not taxing the precious metals. But this is incoming, and it's coming fast, and it can come at any time. We're seeing pressure being put on banks. We're seeing all kinds of different lawsuits popping up for money laundering and all this. It's like the stage is set for a big event.
Yeah, and these things aren't happening for no reason. You know what I'm saying? You have pressure being put on these banks, these corporations. Look at what's going on within the government right now. Trump is pretty much ordering mass firings of all these government departments. He's about to cut SNAP programs, WIC programs, Section 8. All these government benefits are about to be cut. Why? Because why? He's gonna cause all. Okay, he's gonna take everything away from you to pretty much where you're gonna be left with seemingly no choice but to accept this man's MOTB, which that's what it's going to. You see? It's all you see, all roads lead to the MOTB, man. So he's gonna cause you. All right, Esau not gonna come in and grab you up and hold you down, you know, and just put it in you. No, it's gonna be a voluntary thing. And see, part of that is two prong. You know what I'm saying? One aspect of it, he wants to get you to trust him. All right, so he wants you to get to believe in the system, to believe that this technology is beneficial for you. This is why, with the Neuralink, is being put out there as something that can help paraplegics, people that are paralyzed or they have learning disabilities, which Esau caused. You know what I'm saying? So now he comes in as the savior, but he wants you to, Esau wants to get you to trust in his system. Okay, so you can voluntarily get into it. But what's happening is a lot of people are figuring out what these directives and these executive orders are really all about. So people are pushing back. You see? And since that's not going to work, well, he's going to have to come down with the sword. See, Esau going to have to get physical and get carnal with you and pretty much leave you with no other choice. All right? Which these things are coming. Now, we can check this out as well. All right? Because Trump said that the U.S. dollar is crashing. Well, you don't say. All right? So this guy already knows. See, Trump has been brought in here for a very specific purpose. Okay? And when you look at the people behind him, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Dr. Oz, RFK Jr., these people are there for a particular purpose, man. And it's all to do the bidding of the elites. Now, they are playing a lot of games. There's a lot of theater going on to confuse you. And that's done on purpose because only the elect are going to be able to see through the deception. But the masses of the people are going to be destroyed, right? Because they're going to buy into the devil's wiles, man. You see? But Trump knows that a dollar collapse is coming. So let's check this out.
Currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. There will be no defeat like that. That will take us away from being even a great power.
Putin announced this week that Russia will begin using the Chinese yuan for international payments instead of the dollar. Saudi Arabia is also in talks with Beijing to do the same thing. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, they're in talks with Iran as well to consider an economic alliance with China and Russia. And they can even be joining the BRIC countries, which is an acronym for these countries here, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries all have emerging economies. So what happens if our economy and the U.S. dollar are no longer the world's dominant currency?
It's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the U.S. dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status. Whether it's energy prices, whether it's your food prices, the entire global economic system is reliant on the safe and secure dollar. But that is no longer true, again, because we've been printing money like crazy and devalued the power of the dollar. Here at home, you know what it's going to mean for us? It's going to mean raging inflation, so much worse than anything we have ever experienced will. Yeah. And I'll tell you, they're setting it up so that they can then come to the rescue by introducing central bank digital currencies. Right. If they were to do that, and the United States already has a pilot program, that means the loss of your individual economic freedom, because the government will have total access and control of everything you buy and sell, and the ability to turn it off like that. Everything you buy and sell, and the ability to turn it off like that. Because the government will have total access and control of everything you buy and sell, and the ability to turn it off like that.
And I had to replay it at the end like that because what she said was key.
Everything you buy and will have.
You see, it's going to affect the way that you buy and sell. So when you go to Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, because we always go into this, you know, so Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that's going to come in the form of the Neuralink. And look, you already got people walking around here with chips in their hands already. Just look at Sweden. All right, that whole country is pretty much already chipped up, and they're running off of that infrastructure. So this thing is coming to America. Make no doubt about it. All right, but he's going to cause you. All right, he's going to put you in such a difficult position to where, like I said before, you're going to feel as though you have no other choice. Okay, that's that causation, man. You see? Or he's going to give you an ultimatum. All right, say, hey, listen, either you're going to take this chip or you're not going to be able to be a part of this society. Okay, you're not going to be able to have anywhere to rent. You're not going to receive any rations for food. You see, you're not going to have shelter. You see, he's going to make stipulations to where it's going to be like, damn, you know, people are not going to want to do it, but out of desperation, they're going to opt in, right? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Now, the digital currency itself is not the MOTB. Okay? The digital currency is going to work with the MOTB, but the digital currency itself is not the MOTB, because you have digital currencies out right now that people use. You see? That's not, but there has been no mandate given to say if you don't have a central bank digital currency that you can't buy or sell. Okay, but it's out there to get people used to the idea of operating on this type of system. But very soon it's going to come to the point where certain events are going to take place. Black swan events are going to happen, and they're going to impose executive orders. They're going to impose mandates. Okay, matter of fact, that's in Daniel. That's Daniel 8, the 8th chapter. Well, pretty much he's going to implement policies. Okay, yeah, Daniel 8 and 24 says, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people, which are the Israelites. It's talking about the rulership of E. Okay, Daniel 8 and 25, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. Salak, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Let's get that in the NLT real quick, because you know Esau, he's already doing it. You know, he's already implementing all these executive orders. You know what I'm saying? When Trump came in day one, he signed over 200 executive orders. What's that all about? That's all about warp speeding the agenda, speeding up the process to implement this Agenda 2025. Because it used to be Agenda 2030, now it's Project 25, Agenda 25. Right? They trying to do this thing right now because they know that they have a short time pursuant to Revelation 12 and 12. You know, devil coming down with great wrath. Daniel 8 and 25, it says, he will be a master of deception and will become arrogant. He will destroy many without warning. He will even take on the prince of princes in battle, but he will be broken, though not by human power. Right? So, you know, Esau, he's coming with this system. All right? And if you can't see it, then hey, you need to pray that, you know, the Lord open your eyes to see this thing, man. Because you still got, you know, guys out there, you know, false prophets. Listen, man, we're at a point in the game where if you're listening to a group and they're not teaching you about what the MOTB is and to abstain from it, if they're teaching you anything other than the MOTB is the micro C hip, then they're false prophets, man. All right? If they telling you that the MOTB is sleeping with white women, if they telling you that it's an embargo, if they're telling you that it's sin, okay, which those things make no sense. You see, how can the MOTB be sin? I mean, if that's the case, then we all are through. All right, we all are pretty much finished, man. Because we've all sinned, right? But even further than that, when has sin stopped you from buying and selling? You see, when has sleeping with, you know, a so-called white woman, Edomite chick, when has that stopped you from buying and selling, man? All right, these are the outrageous doctrines that are floating around out here. All right, so you know we're in a time now where, you know, false prophets should be obvious to, you know, Pete, man. Like, you should be able to look at a guy and look at his doctrine and see if it's real or not, because it has to hold up with what's taking place within the earth. Okay, this is why the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy, man. Okay? So you can't tap into Yahweh Shai if you're not tapping into prophecy. All right? And a lot of these guys out here may know that they're Israelites. They may know about the laws and you know, the history, but when it comes to teaching the truth of the MOTB, they fall short on that, as well as other things, but mainly the MOTB, because this is what is about to take place. This is what is about to happen within the earth, man. All right, and this is directly tied to your salvation, knowing what this thing is, so that you can abstain from it. So here we are now. Check this out, right? Because this is another step. This just coming out, yeah, February 13th, right? A new phishing kit bypasses two-factor protections. Now, why is this significant, right? So phishing is you know, basically trying to you know, gain, you know, access to you know, access that a person may have through, you know, email or, you know, just you know, pop-up ads or things like that. Okay, a person clicks on the pop-up ad, you know, it may take them to Facebook or some other social media, or, you know, some other site to where you got to put in information or password, right? Now, these two-factor authentication protections were set up to protect data from being stolen. All right, so now they're saying that there's a new phishing kit out that can get past the two-factor protection or authentication. So what this means is that two-factor authentication is no longer good enough. Okay, what this means is that now they're pretty much going to have to implement biometrics. All right. So waving of the hand, scanning the eyeballs, you know, getting your getting the vein within your arm. Okay, this is what they're moving towards, man, because now just having a regular password is no longer good enough, because people can guess the password, they can run the algorithm. Okay, two-factor authentication is no longer good. You can't use an email because people can create emails, or, you know, now they can, you know, hack into your phone and get the passcode, that you use to log in with your email. So all these things have been compromised now. Okay, which all these things have came from the elites. Okay, because it's very convenient timing, isn't it? As soon as Trump comes into office, now two-factor authentication is no longer good enough. Now we need to move on to a more secure form of protecting data. All right, so let's tap into this article, man, because we here. A new phishing kit bypasses two-factor authentication through session hacking, hijacking, and real-time credential interception from services like Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, and Microsoft 365. Now, I want to get straight to the point. Unlike traditional phishing kits that rely on static, fake login pages to steal primary credentials, Astaroth, that's the name of the program, intercepts authentication data the moment it is entered, enabling cyber criminals to gain full access to compromised accounts instantly without needing additional authentication from victims. Once victims click a phishing link, they are redirected to a malicious server that operates as a reverse proxy, mirroring the legitimate login page. With valid SSL certifications in place, users see no security warnings, making the attack nearly impossible to detect. Now, when you go down, to fully bypass 2FA, the phishing kit automatically intercepts one-time passcodes generated via SMS. So, like how if you want to log into your email, or if you may get, or if you may like forget the password to something, they'll send you like a passcode on your phone to make sure that it's you. Well, now they're saying that this phishing kit can actually intercept the passcode sent to your phone, and they'll know immediately and be able to log into your account and take your information, man. So this is very critical. It says, intercept one-time passcodes generated via SMS, authentication apps, or push notifications. Cyber criminals are alerted immediately through a web panel interface and Telegram notifications, allowing them to take control of accounts before victims suspect anything. God damn. And it says Astaroth further enhances its effectiveness by capturing session cookies, which help attackers bypass authentication altogether. By injecting stolen cookies into their browsers, hackers can impersonate victims without needing usernames, passwords, or 2FA tokens. Okay. Let's see what else is in here. Hosting, bulletproof. Says security teams should use fast, real-time threat detection across web, email, and mobile channels, while also teaching users to spot fake pages. All right. So bottom line is this system of encryption, because now they stealing cookies too, which you can't even see the cookies, man. So they've pretty much hacked into potentially everybody's phone, and whatever you have connected to the email, or whatever you have connected to a bank account or anything. Now these things can be figured out, and this is why I believe through the spirit, more likely than not, that a cyber attack is going to occur, because they're going to say, well, damn, because now two-factor authentication is no longer good enough. Now these people can come in and hack the system. So the stage is already set for a massive cyber attack, okay, to occur, because now everything is pretty much wide open. You don't have any defense against these quote unquote hackers, man. You know what I'm saying? This is coming down from the elites, man. All right. And they're gonna blame it on cyber attack, they're gonna blame it on criminals, but this is nothing more than a black swan event to usher everyone into this new digital system that they want to set up. All right, so as you can see, we're very close. Things are heating up. Saying you got wars overseas. You see what I'm saying? Yahweh Bashmel Shai is manifesting the end, man, very, very quickly. Right, we don't have I don't even believe we have another 5 years here, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like the way things are moving, the way these devils are about to roll out the MOTB. Because look, once they implement the mark, that's when World War III is going to jump off nuclear, and then Yahweh Shai is going to return in the midst of that. So we're not that far away. You know, Lord will, it could all go down this year, man. And after the Passover, expect things to really pick up severely. You know, as far as prophecy, man, things is going to be happening so fast. You know, so yeah, get ready for a biometric system to be the standard, to be the norm. All right, and they've been grooming people since 2020 to get used to not using cash, to get used to using contactless form of payments. Okay, to use your hand, to use your eyeball to pay for stuff, to use you know, the RFID chip within the card. Okay, so we here, man. And once again, anybody that's not teaching that the MOTB is the RFID, they're false prophets. Okay, do not trust these men. All right, because they've either sold out or clearly the spirit of Yahweh Bashmel Shai is not resting with them to where they can't see. All right, so we can get what is that? Yeah, let's get Jeremiah 51 because this place can't be healed. All right, and Trump and his cabinet were set up as the saving grace for America. You know, like, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna put more money in your pocket. We're gonna bring the jobs back, which it should be obvious now that none of that is gonna happen. Jeremiah 51:6, it says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." And that judgment is coming. Really, that judgment is already here. All right, and what the elites are doing to the masses of the people, this is the judgment of Yahweh Bashmel Shai. All right, the Lord is taking everything away from these people, man. Verse 7 says, "Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad." All right, and that wine represents the philosophies, the perverse lifestyle. Okay, really just anti-Hamashiach. You know what I'm saying? That's really what Esau through America, Babylon the Great has pushed throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, being against Yahweh Bashmel Shai. Verse 8, "Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed." Verse 9, "We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky." So this place, Babylon the Great, is ripe for destruction, man. Like this place is really about to take a major fall. Let's see, Revelation 18:1. Yeah, Babylon is falling. Okay, echoing the same thing in Jeremiah 50, the 51st chapter. Revelation 18:1, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. 2, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." And that's key right there, man. Okay, because all these nations, they wanted to be like America. They accepted the philosophies that America, you know, had to offer as far as their government structure and the way they should deal with their people, and implementing these you know, perverse ways of life that are anti-Messiah in their nations. Okay, all of them drunk of the wine of Babylon the Great. That's why when America falls, because America has what? The world reserve currency. So once America falls, all these other nations are going to fall with it. You see? So it's going to be a systematic collapse of all the world's nations, man. And from the ashes, you know, they're going to implement a digital technocracy. Okay, this is why you have business, you know, people that are running businesses right now, they're mourning because they're not seeing the revenue come in. You know what I'm saying? Property taxes is going up. They're being taxed more. You know, it's more expensive now to keep inventory in these stores, so a lot of them are closing down. That's why I say the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. But now it's the opposite. Okay, now the merchants of the earth are now mourning because they don't have it anymore. All right, instead of making a profit, now they're taking a loss. They're having to lay off employees. They're having to take away benefits. They're having to move full-time employees now to part-time, or just straight up, lay people off, man, and close down shop. Okay, so what is that? That's Isaiah, the fashion of this world. Yep. Oh, First Corinthians 7. Matter of fact, we can start at 29. 1 Corinthians 7:29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they weep not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not. So we are to be in a mindset of leaving this world behind. We are to be in a mindset to where we just go through our daily motions, do what we got to do, and leave it at that. Don't be overly invested in this world. Don't be overly invested into your career or your job. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Get up out of there and just let it be that. Because this place is going down, man, and you don't want to be attached to this place in any major way, because if your spirit is attached to this world, then you're not going to fare too well in the time of Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to fare too well in a time of societal collapse. See, this is why we push that you should be trusting and seeking Yahweh Shemel Shai in this time. You know what I'm saying? While the evil days come not. All right, things are getting more evil. You know what I'm saying? Evils are definitely growing on the earth. But in this time, should be where you should be strengthening your relationship with the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, because that's the only way that you're going to make it out of what's coming. All right, no carnal means, no amount of silver and gold, no amount of food, because those things can be taken from you. So how can you trust in vanity, man? You can't trust in food. You can't trust in silver and gold. You can't trust in the sword. Because ultimately, the Lord can use those things to your detriment. You know what I'm saying? The Lord can take what you think is a benefit and turn it into your worst nightmare. All right? So it's better to be tapped in with the Lord and, be in the Lord's good graces and receive mercy in that day, because you have to understand that the Lord is the one that's bringing the judgment. You see? The Lord is the one bringing societal collapse. The Lord is the one bringing the famine. The Lord is the one that's going to have neighbor rise up against neighbor. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is the one that's tearing apart households, man. The Lord is the one that put the spirit on Esau to come down with great wrath. So if the Lord is doing it, why don't you tap into the source and pray for mercy? You know what I'm saying? Repent. Take your spirit out of this world and return to the Lord in truth and sincerity. Then you'll be way better off. All right? That's your best option. All right? Yeah. Time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not. 31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. And the time is coming where people that got, they think that they made it in Babylon the Great. They done came up on some M's, you know what I'm saying? They done came up on some couple 100,000, you know what I'm saying? They got inside the bank. And they think everything good. But they have a rude awakening coming, because they gonna see that, damn, I didn't work my ass off. I done invested everything into this world. I done had this business. I done had real estate, and all this shit about to pass away. Okay. And believe you me, you think suicide is high right now. Imagine how exponentially high that suicide rate is going to be when these people lose everything. When these people lose the very thing that makes them feel worthy. Shit, listen, it ain't even gotta be the money. Like just wait till people ain't got access to social media no more. You know what I'm saying? Yo, people gonna crash out. Okay? Once the internet goes down and the grid is out, hey man, it's gonna be dog eat dog out here. Listen, just you wait and see. All right, you gonna see that what the man of the Lord was telling you was right and exact. Okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmel Shai. So yeah, we went for an hour, but it's all good. It's all through the spirit, And I always say I don't try to make it this long, but hey, whatever the spirit, however the spirit flow, however the spirit want you to bring it out. That's just what it is, man. So call or Yah Bashmel Shai. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close out right here. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the Rakah Kadash, call Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, shalom to the elect. Come Yasha'Allah, Wa Baba Ball. On to the next one. Shalom.